that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the security situation in the country, especially in the Northeast.
This is that away from you. Well, this is an appeal from the chair. Because we are talking about security matters, you and I know that the channel of discussion of security matters, such as this, will not be to invite the president to come and disclose issues of security and what they are doing. It will be counterproductive. And I understand the feelings and the emotions which you display and which you've always displayed on issues such as this. And I share that passion, I share that emotion. But in being, as parliamentarians, we must sometimes balance it and not just be a knee-jerk agreement with what is actually practical. Like I said, the prayers were all-encompassing. By asking this president to declare a state of emergency, which was part of the prayers, it allows for extraordinary measures. That singular, there are 3 or 4 prayers, but that singular one prayer is more important than the president coming to tell us anything. If they can declare a state of emergency in security matters, it allows for the gendarmes, it allows for the mercenaries, it allows for whoever we want to bring in. Because without that state of emergency, we cannot even do what your governor is asking us to do, which is to invite mercenaries and foreign mercenaries. We cannot constitutionally do that. So that's why that prayer, the prayer was well thought out to allow extraordinary measures in a state of security emergency. So it's an appeal so that we don't react based on the passion we all feel. I read a statement on the floor of the House before we even started on this issue. And I hope, with emotion and the prayer, that should suffice. So, Honorable Jaha, I'm appealing to you, can we just, because of what it involves in security matters, rather than asking the president to come to the House.
Position of all honorable members from Borno. If I realize any one of them can raise hand and this is the position. And everything I'm doing it because I will need the support of the members. If members say I should withdraw, I will withdraw. My concern is let my constituents know that we are not here bench warming. That's the most important thing. Let them understand that we are doing our own part and we allow the executive to do their own part. And God is going to watch us and is going to ask us.
Is leader.
Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Kano State. And by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the leave of the members of this House, I am the leader of the 9th House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, I rise to add my voice, very strong voice, to the motion moved by Honorable Satomi, Engineer Satomi. And I want to believe no single member here will have his voice away or against what Satomi has moved this morning. Everybody as a human being and as a member representing constituents and being a Nigerian, and for whatever is happening anywhere else, every part of this country is affected directly or indirectly. Honorable Satomi has spoken very well. And I believe those that are supposed to hear that have heard him very loud. Mr. Speaker, you have also exhibited openly your concern, your emotions for what is happening in the Northeast and some part of the country as well. Security is the business of government. There is no doubt about that, Mr. Speaker. The business of every government is to provide for security and welfare of the people. And wherever this security is being breached, Mr. Speaker, it causes a lot of cause for concern. I would like to, on this note, Mr. Speaker, say, while I have every support for his motion, but I would like to say that based on what you have said here, that on the basis of the nature of our security situation, Mr. Speaker, that I want to amplify on the appeal you made to Honorable Jaha, that some issues may not necessarily have to warrant inviting Mr. President to the floor of the House to come and explain. These are security issues. I also want to appeal to members of this great House that while I share the same emotion and concern for the matter raised, I want to appeal and still emphasize on the appeal by the Speaker that members do not have to go this far. I would like to appeal to you that we have so many ways to kill the rat. We have so many ways and options to reach out to executive, but we do not have to necessarily invite Mr. President to come to the floor here and explain, because certain explanations to do with the security nature of the country may be too sensitive to be expressed here in public. So
honorable colleagues, please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is on this note and on the strength on the point you made that some security issues are not only sensitive, they are too confidential to come and be discussed on the floor and to the cameras. I would like to plead with members that we will reach out to Mr. President, maybe through the leadership, and we'll talk to Mr. President and whoever is involved that action has to be taken. Not just action, more action must be taken proactively to stop what is happening in the Northeast. But I plead with you to please allow the leadership of the House to manage this aspect of our concern. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and that is my take.
The security nature that we cannot invite Mr. President to the House to brief the House on the issue of security. Security should always be discussed in the closed door. Like I've said, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will agree that the leadership of the House should meet Mr. President in the villa. Mr. Speaker, sir, like I've said, Mr. Speaker, like I've said, security issues are very sensitive. Mr. President is trying his best. Mr. President is doing his best, like all of us know. We are the people that are affected on this. So we cannot, it's my opinion.
On the floor, we will move to. I'm a little disappointed where, and I bold to say, well, a lot of this noise and shouting down there, where it's coming from. We all know, and I'm very disappointed. But for now, so that we can resolve this matter amicably, because this is not the spirit with which we started this night assembly. It's not. And we will not start a division on any basis at this stage. So now I think I will just resolve to executive session and resolve this matter.
Keep moving.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I stand to move a motion of urgent public importance myself and 9 of my co-sponsors. All of us are from Borno State, for the urgent need to condemn and investigate the insane killing of unarmed farmers in Jere local government of Borno State. Among the sponsors, Mr. Speaker, including the Deputy Whip, the Minority Leader, Shehu Koko, and many more, because of its sympathetic nature of how brutally these young farmers, some of them are even secondary school students. I so move to take the motion. Mr. Speaker, the House pained that more than 43 people were killed in an instant and barbaric attack of rice farmers in Zabarmari, Jere local government of Borno State on the 28th November 2020. Troubled that the attackers tied up agricultural laborers working in rice fields and slit their throats, some beheaded in Zabarmari, Koshebe, Ngudda axis of Borno State, village near Jere local government. Disturbed that some of the victims were laborers of other states of the Federation who had traveled to work on the rice farm field in Borno State. Worried that the exact number of people killed in the incident is not yet known, over 44 dead bodies were recovered, buried, all of them slaughtered along with 6 others with serious injuries, and many more residents are reported missing. Recognize that the funeral of the victims on the Sunday 29th of November 2020, Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Azilim, MNI FNSC, stated that our people are in very difficult situation. They are in 2 different extreme conditions. In one side, if they stay at home, they may be killed by hunger and starvation. On the other hand, they go out for their farmland and risk getting killed by insurgents. More worried by the inability of the military and other security forces in averting the continued wanton killing of Boko Haram insurgents, bandits, terrorists in the northeast and across the country. Aware that President Muhammad Buhari has condemned the senseless killing of several hardworking farmers by terrorists as the entire country is hurt by the discharge. Also aware of the urgent need for the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to recognize the security architecture of the country, to end the insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, and all acts of terrorism across Nigeria. Resolve to ask the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the nation's security sector. Condemn the killing of unarmed civilian and farmers of Zabarmari village of Jere Federal Constituency in Borno State by suspected Boko Haram insurgency on Saturday. Call on the central bank to immediately key in the farmers at Zabarmari and environs to the dry season rice farming project and look into the ongoing ANCO program to proper harvest and recovery to their ANCO project. The House should set up a committee to commiserate with the Governor of Borno State immediately. Observe a minute silence in honor of the victim of the incidents that lost their lives. I so moved, Mr. Speaker, sir.
My name is Engineer Muhammad Ali Wudil. I represent Wudil Garko Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Kano State. I rise to second the all-important motion moved by my colleague, Engineer Satomi. I so moved, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Motion is very comprehensive and all-encompassing, but please, can you just for a minute before we take any amendment or put the question. Just flesh it out a little bit, just for a minute.
But I want to say a little bit because I was part of the first team that went for the evacuation of the victim. It's very, very unfortunate and pathetic, Mr. Speaker. But I want to call on the federal government, particularly looking at the deliberations we made in this chamber in the first 19 months from 2019 June to date. From my statistic, this chamber discussed over 206 security issues. But believe me, action is not yet as expected. The first prayer of this motion, declaring the state of emergency in the security sector, will enable the federal government to think and the military and other security formation in a wider perspective to reorganize, re-strategize their tactics of fighting the insurgency and other forms of terrorism across Nigeria, not only Boko Haram. Killing of the 43 young men in their farmlands who are beneficiaries of a wonderful program of the Central Bank of Nigeria. If you look at the yield and how committed the young people are, majority of the victims are from Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, to come and work to earn their means of livelihood, either as laborers or as part of ration after proper yield been shared to them. But unfortunately, they were slaughtered, killed. This is a new tactic adopted by the Boko Haram because they developed a friendship pattern where they show sign that they are not touching the farmers when the farmers has already developed confidence up to the level that they are sleeping in their farms. But over the night, they invite them in one way or the other, tactically slaughtered them because of the swampy nature of the axis. Vehicles, guns are not being used by the terrorists. So therefore, in looking at the security architecture, new modalities, tactics, input must be introduced in fighting this crime. The fight against insurgency is a new to the Nigerian military because it's a guerrilla war. And if you are fighting a guerrilla war, you have to break all the rule of engagement before facing these terrorists. So therefore, I call on strong terms, particularly the presidency, to look into the prayers of this National Assembly and all security measures or security advices to open up ways to listen to the legislators, to listen to the people that have technical know-how of the security situation in the country, without opening to receive information and accept that there are loopholes in the security. There is no way we can solve this program. So therefore, I call upon the federal government to adopt new tactics, new strategy to fight insurgency and all forms of insecurity in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I bring these amendments and I wholeheartedly adopt the submissions made by our colleague, Honorable Salome, with regard to the killings of our citizens in Borno State. Mr. Speaker, I also make this amendment mindful of the observations of the Sultan of Sokoto that northern Nigeria or Nigeria is the most insecure place to live in this country. Two is that our farmers don't have to take permission to go to farm. Three is that we cannot be at the mercy of Boko Haram. We have DICON, which is Defense Industries Corporation, that ordinarily should be responsible for manufacturing of arms in this country. And you know, Mr. Speaker, the Leahy law forbids any country, whether it is an allegation or it is true, that breaches human rights to import arms from the United States. And that has been responsible for the past 10 years why Nigeria is not able to import the necessary arms needed for prosecution of this war. So I will ask the House that we mandate the House Committee on Defense and Army to investigate the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria on their manufacturing status to determine their level of preparedness regarding weapons needed for national use. 2 is we had ordered some equipment from overseas. So the House should mandate the House Committee on Defense and Finance to investigate the status of the procurement of $1 billion worth of equipment since 2018. 3, since non-state actors can bear arms and kill our citizens without any let or hindrance, Mr. Speaker, the House should seek an amendment to the Firearms Act to give eligible Nigerians the right to bear arms. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I rise to second the motion as moved by Deputy Minority Leader Honorable Toby Okechukwu. I so second.
By the time you allow Nigerians now to own arms, bear arms, you are causing problem. So I want us to take the amendments one after that will not just long them. Thank you, sir.
No, that's exactly what we're doing. The seconder was not against the saying, ayes have it. Order 6 rule 1. What page?
By the time you allow Nigerians now to own arms, bear arms, you are causing problem. So I want us to take the amendments one after that will not just long them. Thank you, sir.
No, that's exactly what we're doing. The seconder was
from Borno, and we have resolved that prayers of the motion should remain where it is.
Please allow Honorable Jala, please. Go ahead.
My name is there as a co-sponsor, and I raise my hand. I want to contribute as a co-sponsor that particular motion. And I realized by the time he was reading the motion, the prayers, he eliminated some prayers that we have all agreed is going to be passed here. Mr. Speaker, I gave out my life because of my people. Everybody can testify to that. So I fear nobody except God. The resolution we put is that we are going to invite Mr. President to come and explain to the House. Secondly, I've been saying that these security forces have been giving all the support to the job. If we invite them, they will say they don't have enough equipment. Yesterday, the president said he has given them all the support to do the job. Unfortunately, they failed to do it. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I said on the floor of this house that, excuse me, secondly, I said on the floor of this house that not taking the bottle to their doorsteps. And everybody resolved that yes, they are not taking the bottle to their doorsteps. Yesterday, the president confirmed that this time around they should be taking the burden to their doorstep. He chose in the past they have been on offensive position, not their defensive position, not offensive position. So, Mr. Speaker, my motion is that. My amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the security situation in the country, especially in the Northeast.